Alright, well, welcome back to the homestead. You can see behind me I've got a stack of James Hardie siding, and that's going to be my project for the day, trying to get some of that put up on the house. So before I can start putting it up, I've got to get my starter strips cut and I've got to get my flashing cut. So let's get those two things done real quick, and then we'll see if we can't get some of this Hardie Plank put up on the house. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I have to cut my starter strips out for the bottom. And I have to nail that starter strip all the way around the house so that the first board that I put up, it won't be perfectly vertical. The bottom will be kicked out just a little so that it matches all the other rows going up the house. And to make the starter strips, we're just going to cut the regular siding. We're going to measure up 1 1/4 inches and cut strips out of it, and we'll just nail those up. So let's see if we can get some strips cut out and then nailed up around the house. And then once that's done, we'll cut our flashing out for the siding. Alright, well, you can see with the siding stacked three pieces deep, the saw's binding up in it, and it's just not doing a real good job. And you can see how much dust it's putting out. So I'm going to switch over to the shears and see how they do. It'll take a little longer using those because I have to do single stack that way, but it should put out a lot less dust. So let's give that method a try and see which one we like better. Alright, so the shears seem to do a little bit better for me on that. It's going to take a lot longer because I got to cut one piece at a time instead of 3 at a time, but puts out a lot less dust, and I think that's the method I'm going to go ahead and use. So let me go ahead and get the rest of the strips cut out, and then we'll start getting them nailed up. Alright, so now that the trim pieces are cut out, I've got to put primer on the cut edges to seal them. So let me get that done, and then these should be ready to start nailing up. And the next thing I want to do is cut out a bunch of these aluminum flashings, and what that'll do is when I put the planks on the side of the house, they'll be nailed flush up against the house. There will be another board here. There'll be an 1/8 inch gap between those two for expansion, and water can get in between those boards and then get behind them. So I'm going to nail this flashing up before I put those on, and then any water that gets in there will hit the flashing and come right on out the bottom of the board onto the top of the next run below it. So what I'm going to do is cut those out of a roll of aluminum stock that I've got, and let me get set up over here and I'll show you how I'm cutting them. What I'm doing is I'm just taking my speed square, and that's how long I'm cutting the flashing. I'm putting a square up to the bottom of that. Hold that, and I'll just run a utility knife down it. And it'll just snap right where it was scored. I'm going to go ahead and make a whole bunch of those up and let those starter strips be drying, and then once I'm done with that, then we can start nailing up some siding. Alright, well, we've got a nice stack of flashing now to put between the butt joints of the siding. So let's go check on the starter strips and see if we can get those put up yet. Alright, so I've got the starter strip nailed up on this side, and I've got it spaced up off of the baseboard there so that water coming down will drain out and then top of the baseboard and then come out. I've also got 1/8 inch gaps at the end of the starter strip and everywhere that there's a seam or a butt joint going down the line. So I've got that done, and I've got the first piece of siding cut, and I'm just getting ready to go ahead and put the primer on the cut areas, the end that I cut and around the light socket, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and nail that up. Alright, well that's a start on putting up the siding, but that's going to be about all I can do today because I've got two different problems I'm running into. One, I've got to cut out notches for the outlet boxes, and to do that you can't use the skill saw or the shears. You have to have a jigsaw, and the blades I ordered to cut the fiber cement are not the right type. They don't fit my jigsaw. So I've either got to go get my other jigsaw that takes that type of blades, or find the type of blades I've got for this jigsaw out here. And I'm not going to be able to do that today. And then also, I've got the next piece cut to go up. However, I can't lift it up by myself. And the reason is, the notch is so deep in this piece that there's not enough siding board left for me to just pick this up by myself without damaging it. So I'm going to have somebody else come out here and help me transport a couple of the pieces from the sawhorses over to the side of the house while I nail them up. Otherwise, they're going to be so fragile in those notches that they're going to break. So, second set of hands and a skill saw or a jigsaw that'll cut it, and I'll be back in business and can continue on. But for now, that's going to be all we do today. So y'all keep checking back.